So good afternoon to all of you. Let us revise what you have learned related to endometrium. Do you remember who has taught you endometrium? Disha, I guess. It is this Disha who has taught you. So few points I just want to stress on few points. So this would be like a review and then I'll make you draw diagrams. So be ready with a paper and the color pencils, H&D pencils, what you have. So endometrium is the topic and this you have learned in anatomy, histology, physiology. Okay. So I won't deal with all this anatomy. So this is PPT partly made by Sanjana. So she has shown a simile here for the shape of the uterus. Uterus is pear-shaped. Yes. This again, I won't deal with these features because I am going to talk about histology. So this is the uterine cavity. So it is lined by mucosa. What do we call that as? The mucosa is the endometrium or the endometrial mucosa. So what do we see in the endometrium when we look at it microscopically? There are two important things that we have to see. So one is this. So what are these? These are glands, endometrial glands. Okay. Then how are these endometrial glands present in the mucosa? It has to be supported. The glands need to be supported. So we see the endometrial stroma supporting. And the nourishment, nutrition and all that. So there are a lot of spiral arterioles within. So two important things that we have to see in the endometrium, endometrial glands and the stroma. So but we give importance mainly for the endometrial glands. And of course, we should not forget the stroma because that is the receptive site for nidation of the blastocyst. So the normal endometrium, the mucosal endometrium is nothing but the mucosal lining of the uterus and it is composed of what I told you now, the glands and the stroma. Glands and the stroma. So if you just look at the endometrium with the fundus and body, it is uniform. So fundus and body, it is uniform. So whereas in the isthmus, it is different. And the endometrial lining here, it is in continuity with the lining of the fallopian tubes. Okay. So what are the layers that you have learned in the endometrium? So this is the entire thickness of the endometrium. Where does it lie or on what does it lie on? This is the myometrium. So this is the endomyometrial junction. See, this is the junction. Probably a line which is shown also. So I was telling you when we discussed adenomyosis that this line is not really like a line. See, some of the endometrial glands and stroma go within the myometrium also. That's why when we discussed adenomyosis, we set the criteria. So when do we call it as adenomyosis? So it has to be one low power field below the endomyometrial junction. So it has to be quite deep. Okay. So what are the layers of the endometrium? So easy to classify these layers into two. This is the functional zone. That is the upper or the inside, the two-thirds. The upper two-thirds is the functional zone and the lower one-third is the basal zone. So this upper two-thirds we call it as a functional zone. This has got a compact zone at the topmost as the topmost layer which has more stroma and little glands, and this next comes just beneath that is a spongy zone which is made up of so many glands. You can make out the difference here. The compact zone, the spongy zone. So these two together are known as the functional zone because this part of the endometrium is the one which responds to hormonal stimulus. So that is the one which shows changes, cyclical changes. And basal, 1/3 is a basal zone. This mostly consists of compact zone and irregular glands. So remember, again while discussing adenomyosis, I told you the basal 1/3 does not respond to cyclical hormone changes in the hormone levels. Yes. So menstrual cycle, you should know, when we discuss, for all practical purposes we take 28 days as the normal cycle, physiological cycle. So if we consider 28 days, then menstrual cycle lasts for 1 to 3 days. Then comes proliferative phase, secretory phase. So 3 important phases: menstrual phase, proliferative phase, secretory phase. But again we subdivide this proliferative into early proliferative, mid proliferative, late proliferative. So I've just given the days also here. Then comes at the end of proliferative phase where ovulation occurs. The Graafian follicle ruptures, liberates the ovum. So that is the interval phase for about 24 hours, you can say, for a day. So cyclical change, the microscopic changes, histological changes are not as evident to say that ovulation has occurred. So we just call this as the interval phase or the ovulatory phase. So 14th day, for all practical purpose, we say ovulation occurs. So 14th day after ovulation and 15th day, endometrium does not show observable microscopic changes. So we just call it as interval or the ovulatory phase. So then comes secretory phase, which is again divided as early, mid, late secretory phase, and then menstrual phase starts. So I told you, for all practical purposes the cycle is considered as 28 days, but it varies anyway up to 28 to 36 days also. So but remember, whatever is the variation in the duration of the cycle, the second part, that is after ovulation, the early secretory, mid secretory, late secretory, the entire thing, the secretory phase remains constant. So it remains as 14 days. So now you can make out, if someone has a menstrual cycle of duration of 32 days, so regular 32 days, then secretory phase remains at 14 constant. So what is prolonged? It's the proliferative phase that is prolonged. So very, very important feature. So once ovulation occurs, so secretory phase is fixed and it is for 14 days. So why I am stressing on this? We receive endometrial biopsy. It's actually not endometrial biopsy, endometrial curettage, that is sent regularly from the Department of OBG for microscopic or histological study. Then why this endometrium is sent for histopathology? So one of the important indication is infertility. So why should we study endometrium in infertility? Why should we study? So actually, for infertility, endometrial biopsy has to be done. Biopsy is only curating it's only taking the linear bit from the anterior wall of the uterus. It's not curating. And we say it should be taken in the late secretory phase, or best is to take on the day 1 of the menstrual cycle. Okay. So why is it taken? What is the indication? Why we should study microscopy of endometrium in infertility? There are 2 important things that we have to tell the clinician. One is, it tells us about the hormonal secretion, the pattern in the body, and based on that the endometrium responds. So this is one is for hormonal evaluation. And second is for ruling out one of the important causes of infertility even today in our country. So what is that infection? A chronic granulomatous infection, that is tuberculosis. So to rule out tuberculosis and to date exactly, date the endometrium we say. So dating of the endometrium is very important, and it's only the secretory phase that is dated. Why do we date secretory phase? Because we know secretory phase is constant. Okay, so post-ovulatory, so we say day 1, day 2, day 3, so we give those days, the number to the second phase, and for this we need detailed clinical history, and LMP is also very important. So we request the clinician to provide us with adequate information too. So indication for endometrial biopsy is infertility. To know the hormonal pattern, just for example, if endometrial biopsy is done in the second phase, and if we still see, and if the clinician tells us that LMP is 28 or say 26 days, and still we see this mid-proliferative or late proliferative, what does it tell us? Anovulatory cycle. So when do we say patient is not ovulating at all? So we have to wait till 21 days, because the cycle duration varies so much. So only after 21 days, even after 21 days, the endometrium remains proliferative, then we say there is an ovulatory phase. So that tells us about the follicular phase defect. So two things we should remember. Then there are other indications. So when we are investigating a case of abnormal uterine bleeding, which was previously called as dysfunctional uterine bleeding, or some books called it as unexplained uterine bleeding. So, and whatever the cause we suspect, whether it is hyperplasia or carcinoma of the endometrium. So in all such cases, endometrial curettage is done. So histology, we are going back to learn histology. Okay. Yes. So whatever I told you, this chart, if you can spend 2 minutes with this, you can make out the different phases. Okay. So day of the cycle, then post-ovulatory day, then cycle phases. Proliferative, early secretory, mid-secretory, late secretory, menstrual. Okay. So this is the endometrial picture that is shown. But here we can make out very well. How are the glands here? They are disrupted. See? And look at the stroma. Stroma is also showing disintegration. So when we look at this disrupted glands and disintegrated stroma, we just call it as endometrial, call it as menstrual phase. Yes. This I told you. So now, the endometrial cycle, I have told you this also. Secretory phase being constant. So range is 24 to 35 days, and whatever variation is seen in the proliferative phase, and 20% of the women at some time experience irregular cycles. So let us talk about the proliferative phase. So there is a slide that is shown to you, that will be shown to you, and slide which is given to you for discussion, that is proliferative phase. So I told you proliferative, we classify it as early, mid and late proliferative. So the slide which we show you is only early proliferative phase. So we have to observe the glands and the stroma. So how are the glands? The glands are all straight. So when the glands are straight, you can just see here, just one example. When the glands are straight like this, when they are curated, so when they are cut across, they are tubular elongated glands. So how do they appear? They all appear round to oval. So that is how the proliferative glands appear. So they are all lined by columnar epithelium, which is pseudostratified. The epithelial cells undergo multiplication, they proliferate, and they are all arranged in the same basement membrane. What is there? So it looks pseudostratified. And because they're all proliferating, the cells have to divide. So what do we see? We see mitosis. Lot of mitosis, cells in mitosis. Why do we not say this is abnormal? So abnormal mitosis is either it is say in malignancy. This is usually bipolar. So abnormal is tripolar, quadripolar, multipolar. So when one cell divides into 3 or 4 or multiple. So here it is bipolar. And stroma is quite compact and dense, and it is composed of oval and spindle shaped cells. So this is the slide that you are going to see. And what do we call proliferative phase also? Estrogenic phase. So why do we call this as estrogenic phase? It is the hormone estrogen that is responsible for proliferation of the endometrial glands and stroma. So has it got any other name? Where is estrogen secreted from? Estrogen is secreted from the ovarian follicle. So it's also called as follicular phase. So there are 3 names for proliferative phase. So estrogenic phase, follicular phase. Okay. So I've just shown one diagram, and then let us draw a diagram. Draw a diagram of this. So this is proliferative phase. So look at the glands, look at the stroma. How are the glands? Glands are tubular. So it is tube-like, but here it is not tube-like. All the tubes are cut across. Okay, so it is round to oval. See, round to oval. So the glands are not so much. So we are showing sparse glands here, but they are uniform. They are round to oval. So uniform. So Sanjana has put a lot of donuts here, to show this as a comparison. Yes. Probably, this is, when you love to eat this, you will remember the microscopy of proliferative phase. Stroma is compact. And what is stroma made up of? Spindle-shaped cells. Okay, let us draw this proliferative phase. Then as this progresses to mid-proliferative and late proliferative, the size of the glands increases. The size of the glands. So this is again early proliferative. This is the surface epithelium, surface covering. Some amount of hemorrhage because the reparative process has just started from menstrual cycle to proliferative. See, the glands are quite uniform here. These are short, straight, narrow glands. Stroma is compact. So this is early proliferative. So we are drawing a picture of this. And here what has happened? This is not just one layer of cells lining. It's become multi-layered. So what did we call this? As pseudo-stratified. It's not real stratification. And what are these dark cells here? These are the cells which are in mitosis. And this is the stroma. You can make out stroma has short spindle-shaped cells. So this is proliferative, mid-proliferative. And then as it goes to late proliferative, again we see this multi-layering of the epithelium. So here actually a single layer is there, not much of pseudo-stratification. It would be much more dense, and the lumen would be very well made out. It's like a punched out lumen in the late proliferative phase. So these are all glands which are proliferating. So we can make out the mitotic figures there. So that's about proliferative phase. Now we are writing this can be called as late proliferative. So depending on how much of glandular epithelium has proliferated. So we're going to draw a diagram of proliferative phase now. So what has to be shown in proliferative phase or endometrium? Glands and stroma are 2 things. So first let us draw outline of glands. So how are the glands? They are quite uniform. They are round to oval, not so dense, not so many in one low power or high power picture. And what is the lining? All these glands are lined by tall columnar epithelium. So we are just writing only single layer because this is early proliferative. So it becomes multi-layered, pseudostratified as the proliferative phase becomes mid, or as it becomes mid or late proliferative phase. Okay, very nice tall columnar cells that are lining these glands. So as we draw these, show the lining epithelium, we have to draw the nucleus also. Just remember, the nucleus is oval, we may say basal, and this will be rich in chromatin. So I am not calling this as hyperchromatic, but it has lot of chromatin because it is busy dividing. So you have to draw an oval nucleus here, oval nucleus with lot of chromatin. So these are the glands which are proliferating. So proliferating epithelium. Even if you write 2 layers, that's okay. So to say that there are 2 layers, we would be showing the nucleus at different levels because it is pseudostratified columnar epithelium. So you need to fill all these with the lining epithelium. All these circles, what I have written, represents the tubular glands that are uniform, that are cut across. So horizontal cut section of these glands. So tall columnar and nucleus being oval. So why I am stressing on this nucleus is, once these glands become secretory, so in the secretory phase, the appearance of the nucleus changes. So it will not be dividing. So nucleus becomes round and bland. So here it is quite active. So mitotic figures would be like this, bipolar. And we are not showing any secretion within the lumen of the glands. So the rest of it is the stroma. So how are the you have to write more glands here. So if I write 4 or 5, you will be very clever to write only 3 or 4. Okay, at least these many. Then the stroma has short spindle shaped cells. And this is quite compact, dense and compact. So you have to draw lot of stromal cells. You can see the diagram there. Lot of stromal cells. And these stromal cells also have rich nucleus. Because stroma also divides in proliferate. Stroma also undergoes proliferation. So that will also be compact and dense. So we give more importance for the glandular changes. We look at the glands first initially to know whether or to know what is the hormone that is playing a role. Because the glands respond very well to hormonal changes, whatever hormone is there. See, this is oval nuclei. I'll complete this diagram. So you have to write along with me. So lot of spindle shaped cells. So 2 things that we need to concentrate on. So stroma with spindle shaped cells. So what is it? This is proliferative phase, early proliferative phase. So these are the tubular glands which are round to oval. This is the columnar epithelium. This is the dense compact stroma. So I'll come back to complete the diagram now. So all these we have seen. Okay. So next comes secretory phase. So interval endometrium, I told you, 14th day of the cycle, there is ovulation in a 28-day cycle, then secretory phase starts. So what is the hormone responsible for secretory phase? It is the progesterone. So where is progesterone secreted from? Which are the cells that produce progesterone? So they are the luteal cells. So we call this as luteal phase, secretory phase and progestational or progesterone phase, progestational phase. So what happens to the glands? So glands start becoming tortuous. So they are convoluted. So proliferative, we said straight tubular glands. So imagine the tubular glands starting dancing. So they become tortuous. The tubular glands become tortuous. Yes. So then secretory also we classify as early secretory, mid secretory, late secretory. And the slide we show you is again early secretory phase. Very important for us to recognize this change because that tells the clinician that the patient has ovulated. So especially in infertility treatment, we have to tell them, but of course they will not do a biopsy. They just look for ovulation in using other procedures. And stroma would be edematous. Stromal changes are more in the secretory phase. And see, early phase, early secretory, subnuclear gland. As we say secretory, that means the gland should start producing secretion. So how does it start? Initially it starts within the cells. So what is the secretion made up of? It's made up of glycogen. So initially we see this within the cells, beneath the nucleus as subnuclear vacuolation. So glycogen is sweet. Glycogen disintegrates to glucose. So when the biopsy is put in formalin, it has water. So the glucose dissolves and it leaves an empty space there. So early phase, then the nuclear vacuole becomes supra, that is above the nucleus in position. Then starts the apical fraying of the margins of the cells, that is by apocrine pinching and all that. Then they discharge the secretions into the lumen. And stroma, here we showed compact dense stroma. It becomes quite edematous. So the cells get separated. And we see prominent spiral arterioles which supply the blood or water, nutrition, everything. So then the cells around, the stromal cells around become slightly larger, polyhedral, and have eosinophilic cytoplasm. We call it as pre-decidualization. So tell me whether this is secretory phase or proliferative phase. Yeah, because I am talking about secretory, not it's secretory, but see the glands are secretion, right? They're quite tortuous, irregular and all. See, this is the tortuosity of the glands. It's so well made out. Yes, see the tortuous glands. You know, I told you it's like the tubules which are dancing. Yes. So now what is the observation here? There are tortuous glands, right? Okay. Can you make out the lining here? Very good. So still the lining is okay. It may not be single layered. See, we are seeing some multiple layering because from late proliferative, this is the stage we are seeing. Still it's not become single layered. But very prominent change is, where is the nucleus? Nucleus is, yeah, but this is the basement membrane, right? But the nucleus is away from the basement membrane. It's somewhat in the center of the cell, because beneath the nucleus we are seeing clear vacuolations. So if more than 50% of the glands in the biopsy are showing endometrial biopsy, so then we call it as early secretory phase. So I think you can make out the vacuolations very well. So this is the early secretory phase. Now look at the stroma. Of course there's some amount of hemorrhage, this could be due to the procedure also. But look at some white spaces that are there in the stroma. Can you make out? The stromal cells are separated. They're not so dense like what we saw in proliferative phase. So that is the edematous stroma. Edema could be of course seen in any phase of the cycle, but as it goes, becomes late secretory, a lot of edema is seen. So this is early secretory phase. This is the slide that we are going to show you. So saw-toothed appearance, of course saw-toothed glands, the serrated inside margins, they're usually seen in late secretory phase. So these are the glands in secretory phase glands. So secretion within the glands, and stroma, see the cells in the proliferative we wrote them as short spindle. So here they become slightly polygonal and they're not so compact. They're separated by, this is like corona status now. COVID-19, they're separated, they're not compact. And some blood vessels are shown. So these are the spiral arterioles. So this is what, and decidualized cells, pre-decidual we say, but that is seen only in the late proliferative, late secretory phase. So the diagram which we are going to write is only about the early secretory phase. So this diagram has to be completed, the entire thing needs to be written. I'll put a picture of that. So let us draw this secretory phase. See, just the hyper view. It is seen so well. The subnuclear vacuolation. The slide we show you is exactly like this. And this is compared to the piano key appearance, keyboard appearance of the epithelium due to subnuclear vacuolation. See, the clear spaces. So this is again early secretory phase. So we identify early secretory phase by the presence of subnuclear vacuolations which are seen in more than 50% of the glands. So this is further. So secretory phase. These are the cells which are there in the stroma. So in secretory phase, as the phase advances, the cells become polygonal. You can make out they have pink cytoplasm and they look like decidual cells. So we say pre-decidualization. So this is an arteriole. Still we can appreciate better arterioles. Okay. This is a repetition class for you, only to make you draw the diagram. Now there are two pictures here. Can you differentiate? Are they same? No, they're different. So both are endometrium, yes, glands and stroma, glands and stroma. So how are the glands here? Round to oval, they are quite sparse, lined by tall columnar epithelium with oval dense nucleus. The color itself tells us. And compact stroma, but some amount of edema is here. But here the glands are dilated, then the stroma is edematous. And the nuclear chromatin is less dense here. I should have shown you in the previous slides about the nucleus. So the nucleus starts becoming round. It is not so dense as seen in case of proliferative. Yeah. So proliferative phase, secretory phase. So that's about the normal endometrium. Let us draw a diagram of the secretory phase of endometrium. So this is secretory phase. See, the glands are tortuous, they are dilated. So how different it is when we are writing compared to the proliferative phase. Yes. So how is the lining? So we are going to write a similar lining here, tall columnar. We are not going to show secretions because we are drawing secretory phase, that is early secretory phase, where only subnuclear vacuolations are there. Yes. So how is the nucleus now? Nucleus is round or slightly oval. So we are going to draw the nucleus in the middle because we have to show this clear space or under the nucleus or below, or subnuclear vacuolation to be shown. So we are going to draw the nucleus in the middle. So we are not going to make this so much dark as this how I have written. So just an outline and little chromatin. So this is the subnuclear vacuolation. Now, stroma, let us draw few spiral arterioles first. That means the small arterioles. So arteriolar wall. This is to remember what changes do we see. Because in the second half of the cycle, the stromal changes are more compared to the glandular changes. Okay, so these are the spiral arterioles, and then now we draw the stromal cells, so which are quite sparse. Not so many cells, but we are writing sparse stromal cells, and for edema we may fill the center area with eosinophilic material. So these are the stromal cells, and they are becoming plump polyhedral. Okay, so these are subnuclear vacuolations. So these are the spiral arterioles, but they become prominent only in the later phase, and this is the edematous stroma. Okay, so let us complete this diagram and the proliferative phase diagram. So I'll just complete this diagram so that you are going to draw both these diagrams and then post these diagrams. Take a picture of what you have written and then email it to us through the Google groups what we have. So this is about the proliferative phase and the secretory phase. What are the microscopic features and how do they appear? Still I have not told you how thick they are and all that. So only the microscopic important features I have told you. So please draw the diagram. This is one of the exercise for you in the examination also. Once you identify, you have to draw this, and these slides are given for discussion in the practical examination. So hope you have understood. It's only a repetition of what you had learned, but only I have made you draw the diagrams. Thank you. Thank you very much. So keep in touch with your teachers, keep learning, otherwise you forget the subject. So open the books. I am sure all of you have at least the soft copies of all these books, and if anyone doesn't have it, I think I can share the soft copies of the standard books the undergraduate students have to read. Thank you.